Hey everyone, happy Tuesday, October 1st, a very historical October 1st. Today we have a legislative meeting of mayor and council, and it's a virtual meeting. I'm gonna do a roll call. Two of our colleagues this today they might be running a little bit late. So I see Danielle and Valerie here. And we are going to be joined by Luke and Jared a little bit after. So, Valerie, can you go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance for us, please?
Yes. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Can you go ahead and do a review of the agenda, please?
Yep. Agenda of the legislative meeting of the mayor and city council of City of Mount Rainier, October 1st at 7 p.m. 1, call to order, pledge of allegiance. 2, review of the agenda, 5 minutes. The mayor and council will review the agenda for the meeting, adding and deleting topics of interest or discussion. 3, mayor and council members event announcements. 4, an update on public safety in the city, 20 minutes. The chief of police will provide an update on the public safety in the city. 5, update from Mr. Ethan Sweep, representative from Congressman Glenn Ivey's office, 10 minutes. Mr. Ethan Sweep will provide an update to the mayor and council on their office's upcoming app competition, service academy nominations, and additional announcements. 6, public comment. Please see page 3 of the agenda where the rules for public comment are listed. If you wish to speak, please advise during the virtual meeting. Old business, 7, to vote to appoint Mr. Gabriel Popkin to the Tree Commission, 5 minutes. The mayor and council will vote to appoint Mr. Popkin to the Tree Commission. 8, second reading and adoption of the resolution number 02-2024, proclaiming February as Black History Month, 10 minutes. The mayor and council will have the second reading and adopt resolution number 02-2024. 9, second reading and adoption of resolution number 03-2024, reproductive rights are human rights, 10 minutes. The mayor and council will have the second reading and adopt resolution number 03-2024. Number 10, first reading of resolution number 04-2024, Recreation Committee. The mayor and council will have the first reading of resolution number 04-2024. 11, discussion on rent stabilization, 15 minutes. The mayor and council will have a discussion on rent stabilization. New business, number 12, first reading of resolution number 05-2024, budget calendar. The mayor and council will have the first reading of resolution number 05-2024. Number 13, presentation of minutes, 5 minutes. The city clerk will present the September 17th work session minutes to the mayor and council. Number 14, vote on approval of minutes, 5 minutes. The mayor and council will vote on approving the minutes for June 18th, 2024, special legislative meeting, public hearing and work session, September 3rd, 2024, legislative meeting. And number 15, adjournment.
Thank you so much, Valerie. Is there anybody that would like to remove an item out of the agenda? All right, seeing none, can you please make sure to mark Councilmember Chesick here with us as well, and Councilmember Stoffel will be running a little bit late. He did send a message letting me know. Okay. Thank you. So we're going to move on to item number 3, mayor and councilmember events announcement. Try to keep them brief because we have a long agenda, please. So I'm going to start with you, Luke. Go ahead.
I have no event announcements at this time. Thank you, Mayor.
Perfect. Thank you, Valerie.
No, but the Recreation Committee had a great Porch Fest this past weekend, and their next event is December 7th, the Sweaty Sweater Fun Run.
And they could sign up and register to the Rec Committee of the city page, correct? More information coming?
Yes.
Thank you, Valerie, and thank you for everybody that participated. Danielle?
Yes, the CERT team had a strong presence at the Mount Rainier Day on September 7th, and were able to speak to many residents and dozens of visitors. Quite a few residents signed up to get information on CERT as well, so we hope to see some growth in the coming months. The CERT is looking into hosting some trainings in the future to include Narcan training, CPR, and active shooter training. The CERT will meet this month on Monday, October 28th at 7:30 p.m. in the community room of the police department. If you have any questions about training or how to become a member of CERT, please reach out to the team at CERT, C-E-R-T, at MountRainierMD.org. I also spoke with Nicole Logan and Ophelia Baxter at Mount Rainier Day, and they said that they would love to get a shout out. So the Board of Elections is also looking for new members to fill some vacancies that they have, and would love for anyone interested or who might have questions to email them at elections@MountRainierMD.org, or you can apply to join either of these committees on the city's website. Thank you.
Please mark that Councilmember Stofes is also here. Jared, do you have any events information?
Yeah, just to note that the Legacy Mixed Use Town Center MUTC committee will be hasn't convened for some time because they didn't have any applications before them, but it will be convening next Wednesday, October 9th at 7 p.m. Virtually. You can find that information available in the city's calendar if folks would like to listen in. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you to the communication team for putting things on the calendar, which has made all of our lives a lot easier. I'm going to make it brief. I definitely want to say a big thank you to EPAS USA. They rally elected officials and organizations nationwide. We had a wonderful Capitol Day last week when it came to Representative Williams submitting a resolution regarding abortions are human rights, very much lined up with the proclamation, the resolution we're going to read today. So that was very successful. And they had over 100 signatures as original sponsors. So that's pretty good. Obviously, we hope it moves, but if not, they already gathered more signatures than in previous before. So that's a success. And saying that, thank you to the various people that came together on Saturday. I know Mr. Kamali was there, Tool Design David was there. We had a really good community meeting regarding Newton Square. More information is going to be uploaded on the website. We are going to have it in the meeting, and we're looking for the project to continue moving forward. And saying that, this morning, and I'm sorry, I'm a little beat up, but I just completed the Fire Ops 101, which is the Prince George's County Fire and EMT training for elected officials. They do it every so often. I've been fortunate that I've been invited twice, and it was a long day, a lot of hands-on, but it gives you a better understanding of what the fire department goes through along with their training, and it's always a good experience overall. Then the last thing, I attended TOS in behalf of the city and the Maryland Municipal League. TOS Crab and Oyster Fest is a big political network event. And you get to meet with legislators at the various levels and have conversations on, proposals and information, and, and get to mingle. And saying that, congratulations also to the biggest class for the Maryland Municipal League in conjunction with MACO, which is like the county, and the University of Maryland. Over 130 people graduated from their fellowship. I was very fortunate to be one of 12 members that graduated as a torchbearer. This is like the second graduation I have in that at that level, and we're a small group, and we're going to try to recruit even more on it. But congratulations to the various graduates as well. All right, Millie and Danielle are both they graduates of fellowship, and so congratulations. All right, and saying that, we're moving on to item number 4, update on public safety in the city. We have the chief of police and his team will be providing public safety in the city. I know also our city manager will also be providing some updates as well on things that have been happening since our last meeting. I want to make sure that a couple of things are clear. Since our last meeting, there's a lot of work that has been going on, that was going on, and that we worked on. So I want to make sure that people don't think that this happened overnight in 1 week. Our team is actually, they work year round, right? And there's some things that were in the works, and through our city manager office, Public Works, they also made happen in order to make sure other things they'll share with you. But in saying that, I'll pass the mic over to Mr. Kamali, and I believe Chief is also here. Hi, Chief. Thank you for joining us as well. I see Ruffin, I said Callaway. Am I missing any of you guys? That's it for right now for PD? Yes? Okay, so I'll pass it to Kamali, and then I'll pass it to Chief, and Chief, you direct the ball to either one of Ruffin or Callaway. Okay? And this
Yes,
is Ivey
Mayor.
Callaway. Sorry, let me be specific. Okay, all right. So Kamali, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor and Council and resident of Rainier. As you know that we've been working on that project, and I think it was on June 18 that we came to the council meeting, and we promised to make some improvements. So what I can tell in bus terminal area, we put 2 big floodlights. Also, last Saturday we do have 3 shelters over there that belongs to the metro. We put 2 solar lights under each shelters, and also advised the police chief to have the police officer between 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then another one comes in 4 to 12 midnight. And Chief and I have been working with the Metro Transit Police to improve the safety. And I think Captain Aaron Donald is joining us tonight. And I saw him and I appreciate his time. And they've been working very closely with the police department. And I just want to make one point that the last shooting was a target shooting. It didn't have anything to do with the plaza, and the community is safe. And we continue to improve the situation. Also, the Public Works is cleaning the area every day, but you know that 5 minutes after they clean, they have to come back again. It's a lot of things that we need to do, but right now we are at the good situation. If you go at night, it's not dark anymore. The area is so shining, and people have safety and security at bus terminal. And we're working with our police department and also with the Metro Police to improve as much as we can. And that's all I have to say, Mayor. And if anybody has any question, I'll be glad to answer. Then I'll turn it over to Chief. Mayor, you're mute. We cannot hear you, Mayor.
I am sorry. I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. So to sum it up, isolated event, the changes have been working and they have been put. And Chief, you have the mic and it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, Council, City Manager. We're joined this evening by Acting Lieutenant Audrey Callaway and Acting Lieutenant Daniel Ruffin. We're also very fortunate to have Captain Aaron Donald and Lieutenant Thompson from Metro Transit Police, who've been great partners with us in the bus terminal area. We're going to start, Lieutenant Ruffin, with the PowerPoint.
Do you need share capability, Ruffin? You're on mute. You're doing exactly what I just did 5 seconds ago.
Yep, I'm about to share my screen right now.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Okay, thank you, Lieutenant. As Mr. Kamali mentioned, our last update was June 18th. So tonight's update will be from the beginning of the year to present. We'll talk about crime trends. We'll talk about investigations throughout the city. We'll talk about traffic calming. Next slide, please. Our plan structure remains the same. We're addressing the issue of vagrants congregating at the bus stops near liquor stores and then the city of Mount Rainier. It requires a comprehensive, multifaceted approach, balancing enforcement with support services in our structured plan and includes prevention, enforcement, support service, and community engagement. You've seen some of what Mr. Kamali has presented as well. Next slide. Environmental design. Mr. Kamali mentioned how we've improved the lighting. Public Works has also assisted us in trimming trees back. We're also considering putting partitions along the benches on the bus stops, such that would alleviate some of the issues we've had with people laying out on the actual benches. As Mr. Kamali mentioned, we've increased our patrols. We're offering overtime to our police officers as well. Lieutenant Calloway will talk about that when we get to that segment as well. Pretty much we're engaging individuals in this area, and we're promoting a sense of safety and deterrence. One thing that's so important is that we can't stop crime in our community, but we can do things to mitigate crime and to deter crime. And with our partners at Metro Transit, we're working to do just that in that bus terminal region. Metro Transit has had their mental health crisis intervention specialists come out as well. We've had our social services coordinator to come out as well and try to assist those facing homelessness and mental health illness and substance abuse. So that's something that's very important, and that's still ongoing. And that tells you more about Metro Transit's civilian specialists that they have. The monitoring and evaluation. We're tracking the effectiveness by collecting data and analysis. We're desperately seeking feedback from our stakeholders, including our local businesses. What we've noticed is that a lot of things will come on social media, but we won't get calls from those residents. We won't get calls from those business owners. So we're inviting you again to be 50-50 partners with us. We need your help. We need your assistance. If you know something, if you see something suspicious, we're there for you to call us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I can't overstate how important that is. We can't be everywhere at the same time throughout our city. Many times we may leave certain areas, and just as we leave, crimes may happen. But if you're there as a business owner or residents and you see something, please call us. Next slide. Lieutenant Ruffin, can you address?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, good evening. Acting Lieutenant Ruffin. So I will be addressing the investigations and a lot of the major crimes that are going on throughout the city. One of our targeted locations have been our commercial robberies that we've seen an uptick in. This is a local crew that is based out of the DMV. They are mostly out of DC and Charles County, which have now moved into Prince George's County. They target our 7-Elevens, any of the convenience stores that are within the DC metropolitan area. And their mode is they pull up, they go inside of the location, and they look for cigarettes and free cash. Quickly get in and get out as quickly as possible. So what we have done is we have worked with our local partners within Prince George's County, Howard County, Charles County, DC, to work on a plan. We have identified almost most of them, and we were able to take out one of the top organizers that were staying in Mount Rainier just as recently as September. So we were able to get her under arrest with her boyfriend, and now they are in custody. So we still work on it. It is a crime of opportunity. They have trained these guys how to do it, what to say, what not to say, so it comes off as a theft versus a robbery. So we're still doing our due diligence to make sure that we're charging them and bringing them to justice as quickly as possible. And to the next slide. All right, so as far as the triple shooting that happened on Rhode Island Avenue, it is still an ongoing investigation. right now. There was only one decedent that actually passed away during that incident. It was it wasn't anything to do primarily with the bus stop. So I just want to make sure that's clear. And Chuck's Liquor. This was a isolated incident that turned from a verbal altercation into a shooting. So we are working with Prince George's County Homicide, and through the efforts of our detectives, we've done a great job at providing them information with chief support and everybody else. As a team, we're able to give them information and hopefully bring this suspect to justice very quickly. So right now, the investigation is going very well. When it comes to crime trends, when it comes to property crimes, the one thing I can say, it is one of the, we have noticed that it is a lot of youth that are doing it. We have identified those youth. We have charged them, but unfortunately, with our criminal justice system, it does take time. So if you have something or something does happen, we ask that you do report it. That way, we can start keeping trends. We can notice the hot areas, and I can work with Acting Lieutenant Calloway to make sure that we're sending patrol in those areas to have an uptick in presence when it comes to those areas. I try my best to provide information to her so that she can do her thing on the patrol side to help mitigate as much as possible. But I know she's doing the best that she can. So we'll continue to try to investigate it, bring these guys to justice as quickly as possible. But if you have a door, please lock it. Make sure there's no valuables inside of your cars. If you need a lock, like a steering wheel lock, please let us know. We can try to help either provide one or give you resources to get one. Also, just make sure that you protect yourself as you guys are leaving and coming in and out of your house. Our chief has been able to get us speed cameras, which for stop sign, which is amazing. So it's one of the best initiatives that we can do inside of Mount Rainier. So he's working on that. And if you guys didn't notice that DC has installed speed cameras on Eastern Avenue due to the recent fatalities, which is great. So that should help with the reduction in speed there moving forward. And I'll turn it over to Acting Lieutenant Calloway.
All right, can everybody hear me? Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lieutenant Audrey Calloway. I currently hold the position of Acting Patrol Lieutenant. I've been invited by the chief to discuss the crime statistics and how to improve safety in our city. As you can see on the diagram, first I'd like to go over the stats. These stats are from January 1, 2024 to today. And as of today, we have a total of 115 arrests. Out of that 115 arrests, 42 of those arrests stem from the bus terminal and the surrounding areas. Patrol has made a total of 939 traffic stops, and those traffic stops range from minor traffic stops to severe stops such as DUIs or anything related to a traffic accident. So looking at the chart that you see before you, these are the confirmed incidents which were reported. I should note that a lot of times we get calls for service, such as they'll have the patrol units respond for the sound of gunshots. Well, when we get there, we realize it happened in Brentwood or it happened in Hyattsville or any other neighboring agency. So these are the reported crimes that needed a police report. So I'm going to read off the chart here. So for robberies, and this is just for the year so far, for robberies, we had 19. Burglaries, B&Es, are 16. We had a total of 4 carjackings, 9 sex assaults. Theft from autos were 59. Vandalisms, 55. Thefts, 41. Stolen autos, 56. Shootings, 10. And 2 of those were contact shootings. 5 cuttings or stabbings, 17 assaults, 10 armed persons, 2 homicides, and 17 overdoses. Out of that 17 overdoses, 3 were at the bus terminal, and they were all at different dates, very sporadic, not within the same week. And it was the same person. So with that, we are aware of the constant issues that arise at the bus terminal. We can say that when Lieutenant David Calloway was here, he initiated the high intensity assignment, which was a success. Those dates were from May 1st to August 30th. Unfortunately, due to the staffing shortages and the quality of life and the mental capacity of our officers, we had to pause the detail for now, at least until we beef up staffing. And just to elaborate on the mental aspect of it, the officers were getting burnt out. Every day they had to come to the bus terminal and literally babysit adults that were being defiant, disrespectful. Officers were being spat on, having urine and fecal matter thrown on them every day, just telling people not to loiter and not to drink beers. And not only that, it's just their quality of life, having their lives threatened, having their family lives threatened. These people, when we lock them up, the first thing they do, they're looking on Facebook, they're looking on social media, they're looking online to figure out who are these officers that's enforcing this. And there's been several accounts where officers' families have been threatened just working at that bus stop detail itself. Furthermore, shortage of staffing hinders the quality of service we can render to the city. There's been instances where officers will lock up an individual and the streets are unattended for 2 to 3 hours at a time. And we also looked up a study that was done by the FBI where the police department should have 3 sworn officers per 1,000 people. Now, with the city of Mount Rainier being the most densely populated city in the state, I can say right now that we don't meet that criteria whatsoever. So we are severely.
So guys, do me a favor. Can you guys focus on the report and the data, please? We have less than 4 minutes to finish this report and question and answers. And I know we have invited guests and this one. So I want you guys to focus directly on the report and information. And then we're also, I believe there's 2 more guests that are going to be speaking, right, Chief? So I want to make sure we give the time because at this point, we're under 3 minutes before we have to allocate more time.
Okay, thank you. So with that being said, we're just short staffing and we need to beef up our staffing in order to combat the crime.
Chief, go ahead and introduce the other guests.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, we're still going to continue our public awareness campaigns. We're going to educate the public on the issues of vagrancy, the support services available, and the importance of reporting all incidences to us. We're going to establish clear channels of communication with members to report concerns and provide feedback. Next slide.
All right, so real quick, commercial robberies and trends preventions. We talked about it. We do have a uptick. We are working diligently to investigate them as best as possible. They are coming in faster than we can investigate them. We have our detectives working hard to try to solve these crimes as much as possible. And our patrol officers, of course, are out there as much as possible. They're spread them, but they're doing a great job. When it comes to carjacking and auto theft crimes, again, if something happens or if you see something, the old saying, if you see something, say something. Let us know so that way that we can do it. If you have cars that are in your neighborhood that have been there for a while, please alert us, let us know, and we will come and look at them. The one thing I do want to highlight, we did identify a couple crews and gangs within the city. One is a new one called Trende Agra, which is a Venezuelan gang that is moving into our city. We're in New York and they kind of based down to now into the DMV area. So we've been out on Mondays with the gang unit, trying to identify them, trying to mitigate them and get their information up. So been working hard to do that. We also have MS-13, 18th Street, and 3131 is a local homegrown crew inside of Mount Rainier. We've identified over 20 of those guys, and we just made an arrest on one of them this week ago for a shooting that happened down near the 29th block, 100 block near Rundle. So when it comes to sexual assaults, I'm very proud. Detective Marshall, he worked hard on this. And right now, one of the guys that we have is facing 30 years to life for sexual assault that happened. So he did a great job with it, and we have been doing good, and we continue to work hard.
Thank you. So I'm gonna ask, because we only have a minute or two left, I'm gonna need 10 more minutes on the clock. Can somebody second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, probably moving second. Any discussion? Objection, extension, here none. Okay, thank you. So Detective, before we move on, I want to make sure that something is clear to the community. What does the Mount Rainier detectives investigate versus the county? Because sometimes we put the communication out, they're wondering why is it that the county investigates certain things and we investigate certain things, but it's by mandate, not because we don't want to do it.
Absolutely. So we take all major crimes except for homicides. So we have everything from the petty auto thefts to thefts from the stores all the way up to contact shootings, cuttings, stabbings, and robberies and sexual assault. So we investigate everything. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we do. Anything besides homicides for the city.
Perfect, thank you. So we need to make sure we understand that when any of the above are not it, Prince George's County takes lead and we could support, but it is their investigation. All right, Chief, go ahead.
Okay, lastly, the biggest thing we want to say is we must remain competitive when it comes to hiring and maintaining staff. Next slide, please. By addressing the issues comprehensively, focusing on both enforcement and support, and engaging with the community, the city of Mount Rainier can create a safer and more welcoming environment around its bus stops and throughout the city. Captain Donald, Lieutenant Thompson, do you have any words for us this evening?
Yes, thank you, Chief. So for everybody who doesn't know, my name's Aaron Donald. I'm a captain with the Metro Transit Police Department and commander of the district that oversees the Mount Rainier area. Chief Alston reached out to me a couple months ago, and we created a joint operation for the Mount Rainier bus turnaround. It's been very successful. We've both been doing plainclothes enforcement as well as uniform enforcement for that area, enforcing quality of life crimes, whether that's open-containing alcohol, disorderly conduct, all the way down to other crimes. I know recently one of our officers actually saved an individual who was overdosing at the bus stop through our crisis intervention specialists. We look forward to continue to support Mount Rainier as best as we can. Like Mount Rainier, we are also short with manpower, so we do try to add our resources as much as possible. We will continue to do that as much as we can. I'm always available. I'll leave my number down in the chat. If you guys have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to contact me either by cell phone or email. But I am proud of the partnership that we have with Mount Rainier, and I do look forward to our continued partnership in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you guys' team effort. I know that Chief also called you guys up, and like you mentioned, and you guys have been very proactive in making sure that you guys are working as team. I've gone out with a couple of times with you guys, and you guys are very professional and make sure that you guys are sitting in the bus stops and make sure you guys are out of your cars and walking around and definitely answering questions if people just have a basic question. So thank you for the information. Chief, go ahead. Anybody else you have on your side?
Mayor, that ends our presentation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I did send a message saying that Ruffin and Callaway didn't finish. They did finish their presentation, but they could answer other questions if there's other questions that people have. So I need to make sure that we are a couple of things I want to circle back around because there's been a little bit of so I want to clarify two things. The Mount Rainier community Facebook page, it is not city run, it is not city monitor. So if you post something there in hopes that the police department is checking to get a lead out of there or like get information out of there, that's not the way to do it. Please call the police station because there's been endless times where we're tagged as Councilmember and Mayor and we reach out to the police department and said, have you guys received a call or anything? And there's been several calls. So the police department will activate themselves if there's a call or an action. But if we're posting 20 minutes on social media and then reach out to police in those 20 minutes, they could be doing their tracking and investigations and stuff like that. The other thing to be very clear, for all of our incidents, usually the police department, through the leadership of chief, right, puts the communication out. They usually put date, time, the incident, and basic information. Sometimes it's like isolated event, and they'll put who's investigating it. The city will duplicate that, and the rest of us duplicate the message. That is the communication from the city to the community to alert you of the incident report. And that's the way it's been dealt with for many, many years. So if you're looking for information about what's going on in the city, the police department has their Facebook page. The city has their Facebook page. And I know many of us have Facebook page, but your place to go to will be the Facebook of the city and the website of the city and the police department. And they'll tell you what information. They have been very good at putting information out, including sometimes letting people know like that, calls were received from warnings for shots and they were not in the area. They also will put it there. So I will direct people to follow their lead and go to the official pages, because that's how you're going to be able to get informed. But please call the police department to their direct number, so that way they know what to do and they can mobilize. Because if not, it's very hard if you think that on Facebook we're going to be able to find this. All right. Anything else? I know that's something that was important for us to add, because it was the other thing is they made it clear that at this point nothing points it was Chuck Licker or the circle for this. I know there was a whole spiral on that. Oh, the other thing that spiraled around saying that there was a second person from the incident that died. That's not true. Thank you, detectives, for making that sure. So again, I would say go to the official pages to get the information, and they can only release so much information as they are investigating. And the first people that could tell you how much information they could release will be the team itself. That's the reason why even sometimes we take a step back to make sure we don't hinder no investigation. Okay. All right. I think I covered a couple things that we wanted to make sure we're clear tonight. So I'm going to open it up to mayor and council first, and then the community. All right. And again, they'll continue doing the stuff that they're doing. Just because you don't sometimes see them there, that doesn't mean they're not there. And they do have undercover operations and so on and so on and so on. But they're not going to tell you today we're undercover and here's my face, right? Because it defeats the purpose of the work that they do. All right, so I'm going to start with Luke. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say thank you, everyone, for the presentation. It was very informative for me as a council member, and I hope for those in the community listening. I don't have any questions at this point. What I'm hoping for is maybe an understanding of next steps as far as this council getting briefed again, and what we can look forward to from like what not just we as council members, but what the community should be thinking about as next steps. Is it sort of more of the same, which is a lot of good stuff, but are there other things that are planned? I'm curious about that. Thank you.
Go ahead. Chief Kamali, if you have anything to answer, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to, assure everyone that we try to improve the safety and security of the community over there. Right now, if you look at the plan, we're going through that process and it's going to take some time. So we're trying to enforce the security as much as possible. As you know that we have a small police department, and we're limited to the number of the officers that we have, and there is a shortage, nationwide. Right now we have 4 vacancies in our police department, and we're trying to, recruit as much as possible. But we have focused on that area, the bus terminal, and we're trying to improve the situation. And we just started. It's only a few months, so we need to have more time. And I'm sure the chief of police is working with the metro, and we're trying to improve the area as much as we can. So hopefully we maintain this situation and improve it for next time that we come to mayor and council to give you an update.
Okay, Chief, I see your mic is open as well.
Yes, ma'am. To piggyback on what Mr. Kamali has said, what we're doing is ongoing. These issues didn't occur overnight. With the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, our region has been hit with so much crime and criminal activity. One thing that I have said, and I want to put out to our community again, that we remain overall a safe community. We're not immune from crime. We're not immune from, but we need you to become partners with us to prevent a lot of the things that go on. When you see suspicious activities, please contact our officers. Our dispatch is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as I said before. So please know that our efforts are ongoing. We want to keep the great officers that we have in the city of Mount Rainier. They're here because they love this city, here because they love the staff that they work with.
So, Chief, I was gonna say wrap it up because I got another signal from our city clerk that we ran out of time, and you guys
Yes,
know we
I'm
tried
done,
to be
ma'am.
respectful of the time. Can I have the last 10 minutes for this item, please? Can I get a second? Okay,
Second.
Valerie, thank you so much. Any discussion, objections, abstentions? Hearing none. We're gonna add the final 10 minutes to this conversation because it's gonna get to 1 hour. Thank you for the information you guys given. It's been very useful. I'm gonna go Danielle, then Valerie, and Jared. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Kamali, I do sincerely appreciate this report and effort tonight, and Chief, you too. I truly, truly do. And I'm sure it's not a secret. I did my quarterly community meeting this past week, and it turned into a safety briefing, which was totally unintended, but not unexpected because of what happened Monday night. And a lot of people, they just wanted to be heard. So, Mr. Kamali, I would implore you to work with Chief and maybe do a community, meeting in person, to hear the people, because that seems to be what they want. They had reasons why they don't come to Zoom a lot, but they appreciate the in-person. So I just implore that the two of you consider it for the future. Yes, having the police out there at the bus terminal is a huge help, but it really is just a Band-Aid on a truly gaping wound. We need to find comprehensive solutions so that we do not have to rely on the continuous presence of our police force, essentially babysitting the area day in and day out. There are many other issues in the city that need attention, like Varnum Street and Queens Chapel, not to mention Rainier Manor 1, Rainier Manor 2, the apartment complexes, the over 1,040 individual homes and other places here in Mount Rainier. We have a lot of ground to cover for such a very small police force. I also feel we need to consider what we can do to make Mount Rainier competitive on the open market in the police recruitment as well as retention. These, I think, need to be discussed openly amongst council at a meeting, something that Mr. Kamali, with you, these are things we need to discuss. We do not have to replace officers if we do not lose them to begin with. And with the competition being what it is nationwide, I strongly feel that we need to do what we can to keep the officers we already have. Again, thank you so very much for taking this situation so seriously. 2 murders inside of 2 months is unprecedented for our little city. And I truly hope that these ideas and actions that we've heard tonight will get the ball rolling towards fixing our issues altogether. So thank you, gentlemen, very, very much.
Thank you, Chief and Mr. Kamali or whichever. Can you guys please clarify that you guys are not just focusing on the circle and leaving the rest of the city unattended, please? I don't want to make sure that the comment that comes out because you guys are taking care of the rest of the city.
Yes,
We are there, Mayor, 24/7, and the police department is focusing the entire city, which is 0.46 square miles. But as Chief said, sometimes, they just have to go to other location and something could happen at the, bus terminal or somewhere else. So we are a small city with a small force, but unfortunately, they're doing their best. And I do appreciate all the police officers, and we're trying to keep them as much as we can and keep the place safe and the community safe. And I think, the community should not be panicked because something happened last week. And I do appreciate, not to take advantage of that situation because look at the status and the numbers that we just presented to you guys. So things are improving, and I think Chief can elaborate on that, but we're trying to do our best. And going back to the community conversation, if the community wants to have a conversation with me and Chief, I'll be glad to do that. I have not received any email or no one has asked us to do that. And I think, once we put those in the council and mayor meeting, people can attend. And I'm not saying that, they have to be there, but I am available anytime they want to. And as everybody know that I've been out and, because of the surgery that I have on my shoulder. And anytime there is something, I try to attend. So we are here and we have to serve the community. We get paid, to serve the community. And I have no problem to have a meeting with the community. And we are available anytime that the community is asking us to have a conversation with them.
Yeah. And I think the next PD event is October 31st, I believe. Go ahead, Chief. The mic is yours.
Yes, quickly, Mayor. Mr. Kamali is totally correct. We're doing the best we can with what we have. We can't afford to lose any more officers. We've had officers in the pipeline of being processed to become new police officers with us. Other agencies in our region have quickly come in, offered them a huge bonus and a huge salary. So I'm not trying to put you in fear, but I'm giving you the reality that we must keep a competitive approach to hiring. The retention of police officers is a nationwide problem, but our competitors right around us are pulling them away from us quickly. And I don't want to come before you when crime soars, begging you for more money for police officers. We have to have a conversation now while we have your audience. That's
Chief,
what I have to say.
There is a new officer that started. I know this is not a secret because it's been all over social media, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And I know he's attended other events for our Rainier, but he's also going to be on the Halloween event that we have, right?
Yeah, correct. Thank you, ma'am.
So perfect.
Moretti to our department. He comes from another department out in Western Maryland. So we welcome
And
him.
he, if you guys want to know, it is on the city police department web Facebook page. The information is there. I think it went up like maybe 2-3 days ago or something like that. All right, perfect. Thank you, guys. Valerie, Jared.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for the presentation. I think it's important to keep the community informed on what's happening. I have two things, mainly that I'm impressed that Eastern Avenue is starting to be addressed more by the DC government. So thank you for your partnership on that and on the metro area at the Circle. I know that Barnum Street remains a challenge. So thank you for keeping that going. And then the last thing is that I wanted to, hold on a second. Sorry. The last thing that I want to say is that I do note that on the website, on the city's website, and I know you guys have just done an update, but that we don't have weekly crime reports that are up to date. I think the last ones are from August. So I think one way to help keep the community informed is to keep those reports updated and on the website, either on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis. I think that would be helpful for us.
Okay, thank you. I know that because there's shortage and because of all the things that have been happening, it's been a little bit hard for them to submit, but they're working on getting them. And I know we received a bunch of them that I hope they already went up on the website. All right, Jared, your turn.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to reaffirm the comments of all of the folks that have spoken previously. Also, just to reaffirm for the fifth time, please, again, call police directly. Don't post on social media. This happens to me too. I get an email, I'll get a tag in a thing on Facebook, and that means that until I see it, and then I call our staff, and then they respond. The quickest thing, we have a police force with dispatch available 24/7 and police staff on 24/7. And we're a small city, they will respond quickly. So just remind residents, that's the absolute best way to get our police to respond to something and make them aware of what's going on. And because they need to respond quickly. If there's an incident, they need to be able to know immediately, not through like a series of Facebook tags. So just wanted to thank you for the chief for the work, the presentation, just clarifying the work you're doing across the city, the partnership that you're embarking on with MPD and also Metro Transit Police, particularly around the Circle. That's a really important location for many of our residents because it is the core of our city, but it's also a place where, I think 700 to 900 plus people board Metro Transit buses every day to get to work. So, it's important that remain a place they can be at and transfer and get to work and come to our city. But it's also important that that's be a continuously safe place to reside. So I thank you for the work you're doing there. I really appreciate the stuff you're outlining around built environment. There's a lot of work you've done around lighting. A lot of the issues stem from some of them, the visibility or the as you mentioned, kind of lighting dynamics. A lot of the work your department's done with the Project Safe Neighborhoods grant
Wrap it up, Jared.
DOJ, sorry, have been really helpful too. So I just again thank you for the work you're doing. I think as Valerie mentions, having a more frequent cadence and update to those reports is going to be really helpful for staff to know what you're doing. And last thing, our police are at almost every public event we have that we've just had. Hang on, Lena, I'm done. Almost done.
No, the reason why I tell you because time ran out and
sorry.
Melissa's like flashing. That's
Yep.
what I'm like. If you want more time, make a motion for more time.
Make a motion
That's
to
what I'm
add.
trying to like.
Sorry,
make for you to make more time. If you want to put more time on the clock,
make a motion to add 10 minutes.
Go ahead. Second. Objection. Abstention here, none. 10 more minutes. That's the only thing. You guys pay attention to the screen because she will shut it out that you have 3 minutes. Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, no, I just note that our, Chief Alston, your staff are at almost every single public event that we have. Folks, I really, really ask our community to come out and get to know our police officers, get to know the work they're doing and the work they're doing in our community, whether it's a Mount Rainier Day or Public Safety Night or, festivals or stuff. So again, really appreciate the work you're doing, Chief. I know some of the challenges that we're having are ones echoed by not just police forces in Mount Rainier, but across the region and nationally. And I know you're working, to address it, recent hires, and you've done, I think an excellent job protecting our community. I know the number of incidents and dynamics has been certainly down from what was happening last year. And I thank you and your staff and your force for the work you're doing. So thank you.
Try to remember we're doing 3 minutes each. Okay. So that was your warning, Jared. Not for the rest of the meeting.
Sorry.
You're done. So yeah. So guys, do me a favor. Melissa will put on the chat how much time we have for the subject to be spoken. So whether you're a speaker and the rest of the staff, it makes life easier for me not having to interrupt because Melissa will put like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute. So by the time I say something, that box has been flashing like at least 5 different times. Okay. So please help me out with that so that we're aware. And if you're a council member and it's time for you to talk, go ahead and request more time. So that way we make this a little bit smoother. The other thing I wanted to make sure we keep in mind, I know some of these policies we have been working with for quite a few years, and it's gotten us at least some improvement. Chief Alston used to work under Chief Morgan, and part of his job as was the lieutenant, your title, Chief? It's been forever. Now you're Chief for me forever. Was also doing the community outreach and a lot of the plans that you see now. So this is a lot of like some of the continuation from those plans, but also enhancing on the things that we need. Correct, Chief?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. As the assistant chief, we instituted community policing, continued that. Once Chief Morgan departed, we continued that same track. What did happen at the same time he departed was the aftermath of COVID-19. So when I read that this didn't happen until after Chief Morgan left, yes, that is true, but the aftermath that we all saw throughout this region was COVID-19. It wasn't because we continued the same energy that we had under Chief Morgan. Of course, we've lost officers, and I hate to keep going back to that.
Yeah.
But because of the competition is there. So truly, we do need to remain competitive.
We could do only so much. I know we need to be competitive, but there's no way we could afford DC prices, Hyattsville prices, or Capitol Park and planning prices, because those are like ridiculous prices. Our budget will not be able to withhold $70,000 bonus and stuff like that for one person. It's quite a bit of money. We'll have to figure out what to do from there on. But I think that I want to thank you guys for putting this information. I know that they do quarterly coffee with the cop, right? And they've had at least once or two in this year, something along those times. So that's another opportunity for community members to go over and speak. When is your next police department event, Chief? Is it October 31st or 30? What is it?
I believe it's the 26th, Mayor. Is that?
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure. I'm like, my head is like with 1,000 dates.
October 26th.
Okay, perfect. So I think that the other thing you guys have to remember right now, they are working on investigating and doing the other things, right? And if we see the need to be able to have a follow-up conversation, they will go ahead and have it. But I also need them to be out there working and doing the things that they need to be doing. They just had the police department throws at least 2 or 3 really big events in the city. And I know the officers are available. Some people take that time to also to talk to them about various things. And that becomes very, very helpful. But they also do the coffee with the cops, and in order to also to do some outreach, and you could sit down and talk to them, or you could always call them, and basically, if you have a concern, talk to them as well. In the past, we have done block sitting down in meetings. So if we feel the need that needs to be happening, that's something that I done with the city managers and the chief of police and the whole entire department. In the past, so if we see the need to do that, we'll go ahead and do it. But right now, give them some time to make sure they're investigating and doing the work they need to be doing, because we're sure to try to pull them. When we have those events, basically the whole police department's right there with us. And that means like basically majority of the officers are on the ground with us instead of doing the other things that they need to be doing. So it takes a lot more work than just chief and city manager showing up and and the rest of council. Okay. So so please be advised that if we see the extra need to do it, we'll go ahead and do it. But it does take, so it's not just like, even when we had done, it hasn't been just set up in here. All right, so I'm gonna do a brief one. I'm gonna ask the community members like for 2 minutes on the clock, no more than that. Okay, because I think we've gone around to a couple of things. We'll keep going and doing like more or less what we've been doing is like quarterly checks in with the police department. Last time we had this like right before we left to recess. And we are on October, so technically we've only had one meeting. Okay. So, but if the police department and feels like we need to do more updates, we'll go ahead and do them. But more or less, they've been doing quarterly updates up to this point. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna open it up to the community. If you need to speak, first, last name, block number, street. The rules are very basic. Please keep decorum. Don't utilize people's names. And if you have a complaint, directly to the city manager and the chief. If with police, they'll deal with that, and if it's for any other department. But it has to be about this specific subject. If you have something else to add, we have public comment coming after our next presentation. Okay? All right. Anybody on Facebook? Jared with a D? All right, perfect. Anybody here? I see nothing on the chat. All right. I thank you guys for spending the night with us. I know you have 1,000 places to be and work to do. The conversation continues. This is not the end of it. And I know you guys are doing a lot of wonderful and great work, and that includes communicating with the community. And that has been very important when it comes to outreaching. I know that it's a big saying for you guys that we want to make sure you meet the officers in good times, not just in bad times, and they have made themselves beyond available to make sure they are at all of our events. And I think the latest one that they were at was Latino Heritage Festival. A few of them, about 2 or 3 of them were there for that event and talking to the community as well. But they participated in school events, PTO events, any event you could think of happens to the city, the officers stop by and make themselves available to talk. So thank you for that as well. So not just city attached events. All right, perfect. Let's move on to the next presenter. Thank you, guys. I mean, you guys don't have to stay, but if you choose to, you guys, could stay and like enjoy something else. All right, we have Mr. Ethan Sweep, represented from Congressman Glenn Ivey's office. Ethan, thank you so much for waiting. You got a sense of what's going on in Mount Rainier, which is always good. I'm going to open the floor up to you to present. Do you need to share the screen, or
No,
or you're fine just like that?
I'm fine just like this.
Okay.
But thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me. For those who don't know, my name is Ethan Sweep. I am a Community Liaison and Grants Manager with the Office of Congressman Glenn Ivey. I want to thank you tonight, of course, like I said, for having me. It's always an honor to be here at your council meeting. I want to start by just saying, our office and the Congressman have been very hard at work for our constituents this summer. We were able to celebrate grant funding for gun violence prevention, electric buses, and safer streets. Additionally, we continue to work with the federal agencies to make sure that our constituents are taken care of and that their concerns are being addressed. As always, please reach out to us if you or any of your constituents need any assistance. We're here to help. But tonight, I wanted to talk to you about 3 things in particular. So first, I wanted to talk to you about the Congressional App Challenge. So the Congressional App or Application Challenge is an opportunity for high school age students across the country to showcase their talents and skills. The way it works is that each member of Congress receives submissions from high school students in their district. And from there, an independent panel of judges will select which app is the most innovative and beneficial to society. After the chosen district winner, or after a district winner is chosen, they are automatically entered into the national competition. And from there, a national winner will be determined by a separate group of panelists. We are encouraging as many people to join in order to promote and nurture an interest in developing technology. And we also believe that this is a great way for those interested in STEM fields to receive real world experience and networking opportunities. The deadline to apply for that is August 24th, 2024. And if you want more information, you can visit, I believe it is congressionalappchallenge.org.
Ethan, when was the deadline?
The deadline is October 24th.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And secondly, our office is now accepting applications for nominations to the military service academies. So as some of you may know, members of Congress may nominate candidates for appointment to 4 of the 5 U.S. service academies: the U.S. Military Academy in West Point, the Naval Academy over in Annapolis, the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, and the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point, New York. The 5th Service Academy, the U.S. Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut, does not require a congressional nomination for appointment. So Congressman Ivey may nominate between 10 to 15 individuals for each vacant academy slot allotted to our district. But we want applicants to understand that receiving a congressional nomination does not guarantee admission into the academy. However, it is a requirement to be considered for appointment as part of each service academy's admissions process, with, of course, the exception of the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. So for more information on that, you can go to our websites and under services, click on Military Service Academy nominations. You'll also find the form to apply for a Service Academy nomination on that page as well. And the deadline for that is October 18th. So coming up fairly soon here. Finally, I wanted lastly to remind you all about the Community Project Funding Grant Program. So for those wondering what that is, maybe new to this, this is a grant program where members of Congress can submit projects to the House Appropriations Committee as part of our annual budget process. This program was started up in the last couple of years, and it has been a very effective way for us to provide funding for projects in our district, specifically those that are being executed by nonprofits and governments. Our office will begin accepting nominations after we receive guidance from the House Appropriations Committee, which usually happens in late February or early March. If you have ideas for projects or would like to get more information, please reach out to our office and schedule a meeting with me. I'd be more than happy to talk to you all about that. We are also planning to come around again early next year when we have some more information for you. As well, we will be having a webinar sometime probably in January to kind of go over it, the whole process, get people up to speed similar to like we did last year. So again, thank you so much for having me tonight. Thank you for your time. And I will finish by asking if anybody has any questions.
If there's any questions, we're good. Thank you. If you could send us a link so if you have any flyers, if you could send them to us so we could share as well.
Yes.
We'll be happy to help expand the message. And again, thank you to you and obviously Rep. Glenn Ivey, who has been a wonderful partner to the city of Rainier. Anytime we needed something, whether it's letters or, support, he has been very active in making sure, he's supported to us and not just us, but other municipalities, but us in this conversation. So we definitely appreciate the whole entire team being responsive, being there. And there's usually one member of the office that comes in and joins us. And we definitely appreciate how accessible you guys all are. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Always here to help.
Perfect. Have a wonderful night. And like I told everybody else, you're welcome to stay, but if not, we won't get hurt. Okay. You have like 300 other meetings. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to item number 6, public comment. If it's something that's going to be agenda, please hold on until we talk about it in the agenda item. And if it's something that is not part of the agenda, say your piece for 3 minutes. And thank you, Melly. You're so good. September, Melly. Rules for public comment. The mayor and council invite and welcome comments at a public meeting. The mayor presiding officer will recognize you. Please introduce yourself first and last name for recording purposes and give the name of your street and block number, IG. 4300 block of 34th Street. Please indicate in the chat whether you would like the mayor to read your comment or you will speak on your comment. Public comment has a time limit of 3 minutes per speaker unless otherwise agreed upon by the mayor. While speaking, please maintain a courteous tone and avoid personal attacks. If you wish to lodge a complaint about performance or conduct of any city employee, please bring your concerns to the attention of the city manager, who will look into the matter and respond to you. As a courtesy to other residents and businesses, the council requests that speakers not use a specific address or name of individuals when describing a situation or making a complaint. Noting block is preferred over a specific address. Thank you. So name, last name, block, street number, in order for us to call upon you. Anything on Facebook? Nothing? All right. So while we wait, I'm going to take this time to read the message from Delegate Fennell's office. District 47 annual cookout will be happening this Saturday, October 5th from noon to 4 p.m. Please come over to the Bladensburg waterfront. And it's a wonderful community event put together by 47 district delegation. All right. Seeing that there is no public comment, I'm closing the public comment section of this agenda. Moving on to old business. Vote to appoint Mr. Gabriel Popkins to the Tree Commission. Motion to appoint, can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
It's been probably moved and second. Any discussion? Objection, abstention, hearing none. Gabe, you got appointed to the tree commission unanimously. We know who you are, the great work that you do. So we appreciate you being part of the community and thank you for everything, okay? All right, item number 8, second reading adoption resolution 02-2024 proclaim February as Black History Month. Can you put it on the screen because it's a vote, we have to read through it. Our courageous Councilmember Valerie Woodall is taking lead on this. Go ahead, Valerie.
All right, resolution of the Mayor and City Council of Mount Rainier, Maryland, proclaiming February as Black History Month. Whereas the African American community have made meaningful and significant contributions to the city of Mount Rainier, state of Maryland, and the United States and the world. And whereas the month of February is nationally recognized as Black History Month, and whereas in 1915, Dr. Carter Godwin Woodson, noted Black scholar and son of former slaves, founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, which was later renamed the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, ASALH, and whereas Dr. Woodson initiated Black History Week, February 12, 1926, and for many years, the second week of February, chosen so as to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, was celebrated by Black people in the United States. And whereas in 1976, as part of the nation's bicentennial, Black History Week was expanded and became established as Black History Month and is now celebrated all over North America, Canada, and Great Britain. And whereas many Black people have made the city of Mount Rainier their home in spite of the abhorrent attempts to exclude them, and have made significant contributions to the city, state, and nation. And whereas Black history is American history and should be taught to students since elementary school, and whereas the African American community has served in the U.S. Armed Forces since the First World War, even though at home they had no rights and segregation was at its peak, we honor their sacrifices and celebrate our veterans. And whereas we celebrate and affirm the importance of Black health and wellness to our community and throughout our state and the nation, and whereas we celebrate the diversity of Black people in the city of Mount Rainier and our nation, and the Black diaspora, whether they self-identify as African, African-American, Afro-Latino, Afro-Caribbean, Afro-Asian, or Black, and whereas we acknowledge systemic racism has led to African Americans being more likely to die at an early age from all causes, more commonly misdiagnosed and impacted by health inequities throughout the healthcare system that have traumatized the Black community. And whereas we celebrate Black health and wellness, including the legacy of Black scholars, midwives, doctors, and practitioners of not only Western medicine, but all other Indigenous ways of promoting health and healing throughout the Black diaspora. And whereas during Black History Month, we elevate the achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, and political systems. And whereas the observance of Black History Month calls our attention to the continued need to battle racism, stand up and be an ally, and build a society that lives up to its democratic ideals. And whereas the city of Mount Rainier is proud to honor the history and contributions of African Americans in our community throughout Maryland and our nation. And whereas the city of Mount Rainier will continue to work toward becoming an inclusive city in which all the community, past, present, and future, are respected, and that the African American community is recognized for their contributions to our city, country, and world. And whereas African Americans have played a key role in the advancement of the city of Mount Rainier and the world in multiple fields of study, including but not limited to arts, culture, science, math, politics, history, business, music, sports, medicine, economic development, education, agriculture, literature, dance, high technology, and human and civil rights, including LGBTQAI+ rights. There is no field that the African American community have not positively impacted and have advanced. And whereas the city of Mount Rainier commits to doing everything in our power to demand that we all seek a greater understanding and implement changes to ensure that racism and unjust treatment of any person is not tolerated in any way or form within the city of Mount Rainier. And whereas Black History Month is a time for citizens of Mount Rainier to remember the contributions and legacy of those who helped build our nation, fought against prejudice to secure lives of dignity and opportunity for all our citizens, advanced the cause of civil rights for all Americans, and strengthened our families and communities. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and City Council of Mount Rainier recognizes and acknowledges the contributions, achievements, and influence of the African American community, and resolve that the mayor and city council of Mount Rainier designate February as Black History Month. This resolution is adopted by the mayor and council of the city of Mount Rainier on day of 2024.
If this resolution sounds familiar, it's because it's the same proclamation we've been reading for years. So in saying that, chances are we're still going to read the proclamation because every so many SAL changes what their theme is for the year. Sometimes they keep it for 2-3 years. And that's more or less what we changed on the proclamation to make sure we're in tune with what they put together. Okay. All right, perfect. Can I have a motion on the floor to approve proclamation? Can you move it up, Melly? I think it's 02-2024.
Motion.
It's a motion has already been moved. You cannot have any questions. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
It's been probably moved in second. Now we're gonna open it up for discussion. What's the who said I have a question? You guys know, raise your hand if you have a question. Council, who had a question? No one? Okay, any objections, abstentions? Hearing none, this resolution has passed. Thank you. I know you guys are like, we already heard this resolution like 1,000 times. All right, move on to the next item. I just want to remind you guys it's 8:17, my loves, and we're all trying to get out of here at a decent time. Second reading adoption resolution 03-2024, reproduction rights are human rights. And this goes right in line with the proclamation that was made. And this is the second reading, so there'll be a vote tonight to adopt. Valerie, you ready?
I think so.
All right.
Okay, resolution of the mayor and city council of Mount Rainier, Maryland, proclaiming reproductive rights are human rights Day. Whereas on June 24, 2022, the Supreme Court in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization overturned a 50-year precedent set by Roe v. Wade, Planned Parenthood v. Casey, and eliminated the federal constitutional right to abortion in the United States, and subsequently more than a dozen states have passed legal barriers that fully ban abortion, and many others have passed legal barriers that severely restrict abortion. And whereas there has been increased risk of criminalization of people seeking abortion, and doctors, nurses, and those involved in providing and dispensing reproductive and gender-affirming care. And whereas since the overturn of Roe v. Wade via the Dobbs decision and subsequent bans has forced thousands affected to travel outside state borders to seek care in states such as Maryland, where abortion is legal, and whereas the access to safe and legal abortion is a human right that should be safeguarded and legally protected, and no one should be criminalized for any pregnancy outcomes or for providing essential care. And whereas pregnant people who have been denied abortion care may be putting their health, fertility, and lives at risk, have been forced to carry non-viable pregnancies to term, or have been criminalized for miscarriage, the circumstances of their pregnancies, abortions, and other pregnancy outcomes. And whereas the retrogression on human abortion rights in the United States conflicts with the United States obligation under international human rights law, and whereas we have seen in various countries the effects of criminalizing healthcare, women forced to carry unviable pregnancies to term at the cost of their health and sometimes lives, and women serving decades-long sentences for suffering miscarriages, such as the international case of Beatriz and others v. El Salvador, and countless women currently serving 30 years or more in jail in El Salvador. And whereas treaties ratified by the United States are binding on individual states and are the supreme law of the land under Clause 2, Article 6 of the Constitution, and whereas Indigenous people, Black and Brown people, people of color, people with low incomes, people living in rural areas, people with disabilities, immigrants, LGBTQIA plus individuals and other marginalized individuals are disproportionately likely to be surveilled, arrested, charged, prosecuted, convicted, and heavily punished within the American criminal justice system, and due to systemic discrimination to experience additional scrutiny from the American legal system. And whereas the United States has been reviewed by the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, ICERD, two treaty monitoring bodies since the Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization decision, and the United Nations Human Rights Committee has explicitly recommended that the United States government at all levels, federal, state, and local, uphold human rights obligations under these treaties, including protecting sexual and reproductive health and rights. And whereas abortion is legal in the state of Maryland and has been since 1973 and was reaffirmed by voters in a referendum in 1992, however, a statute can be repealed legislatively without involving the voters, and Dobbs has shown even if abortion is currently legal, it can remain at risk. And whereas a constitutional amendment offers the highest form of protection for abortion care in Maryland, repealing an amendment to the Constitution is much more difficult than reversing other types of policy protections for reproductive freedom. And whereas Governor Westmore signed into law the Reproductive Freedom Bill package in 2023 that included an electronic health record data privacy bill, a shielding bill to protect private providers and patients of legal reproductive health care, including abortion from attacks by anti-abortion extremists in other states, a bill requiring four-year residential public colleges to put in place a plan for students to access comprehensive sexual and reproductive health care, including abortion, STI testing and treatment, contraceptives, and emergency contraceptives, and a constitutional amendment to ensure every person in Maryland has the right to prevent, continue, or end their own pregnancy. And whereas the Reproductive Freedom Bill has allowed for a constitutional amendment to be on the ballot in Maryland in November 2024, the decision to prevent pregnancy through contraception, carry a pregnancy to term, or terminate a pregnancy through abortion would only be up to a pregnant person and their healthcare provider. In the absence of federal legislation, this is the strongest possible protection of the right to reproductive freedom for Maryland residents. And whereas this resolution aligns with the Mount Rainier City government with its human rights obligation under the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights in accordance with Article 6, Clause 2 of the Constitution. And now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and City Council of Mount Rainier designate June 24, 2024 as Reproductive Rights or Human Rights Day in the City of Mount Rainier. This resolution is adopted by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Mount Rainier on day of 2024. Mayor, you're on mute.
That's what happens after Siri. Thank you, Valerie. All right, so motion on the floor to approve resolution 03-2024, resolution by Mayor Council of the Mount Rainier. Mayor proclaiming reproduction rights are human, reproduction rights are human right days. Wait a minute. Are human rights. Melly, do me a favor. When you print this one, can you separate it where it says rights are? That's what's throwing me off. Reproduction rights are human rights. Okay. All right, perfect. There's a motion on the floor. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's probably moved and second. Any discussion? Objection, abstentions, here none. It's voted unanimously. Next item, the agenda, please. All right, first reading of resolution 04-2024, Recreation Committee. The Mayor and Council will have the first reading of resolution 04-2024. As you put it in the screen, Millie's, it's a simple. The resolution basically said that we appoint every year. We're expanded to 2 years appointment, and the current rec committee members will extend their appointment not just for 1 year, but actually 2 years from the date they were appointed. All right, so Valerie, go ahead and read it.
Okay, City of Mount Rainier, Maryland, resolution number 04/2024, updating the terms of the Recreation Committee. Whereas the mayor and council has the authority to create committees and appoint citizens to those committees, and whereas the mayor and council recognize the need to initiate and fund youth and recreation programs to improve the quality of life for all Mount Rainier residents, and whereas the Recreation Committee, was restored in 2017 under Resolution 07-20717, which continues to be the governing document for the committee, whereas the committee serves two purposes: one, administering grants, and two, creating and administering projects, programs, events, and activities to benefit the youth of Mount Rainier and to provide recreational opportunities for all residents. Whereas the mayor and council wish to increase the terms for the Recreation Committee from 1 year to 2 years, and now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mount Rainier as follows. One, that the committee will be the point of contact for any outside parties seeking funds or youth or recreation activities, projects, events, or programs, and will administer grants to them in accordance with criteria approved by the mayor and council. Two, the committee may request that the city partner with outside organizations to share expertise and capacity with the committee for creating, administering, and promoting recreation activities that directly benefit Mount Rainier residents. Three, each fiscal year, the city manager's proposed budget shall include one, funding for the committee's operation, i.e. creating and administering projects, programs, events, and activities, and two, funds to be dispersed by the city council as grants to outside organizations. Four, the committee shall be composed of 5 members who are appointed by the mayor and council and serve at their pleasure. The term of the committee membership is 2 years. 5, that should the committee fall below full membership, the city manager shall promptly recruit applicants to fill the vacancy and recommend appointees to the mayor and council. 6, the terms of committee members appointed before the adoption of this resolution are hereby extended for an additional year. And 7, the provisions of this resolution shall supersede any rules, procedures, or resolutions previously approved by the mayor and council of Mount Rainier. This resolution is adopted by the council of the city of Mount Rainier this day of October 2024.
So we might have to edit that because wait, move it all the way up. Is it the first or second reading? First reading?
First
reading.
So if it's the first reading, it's not going to be in October. It's going to be like in November. The other thing where it says like city manager or his designee. Okay, so I need you to add that to it because the city manager could designate whoever he chooses to like go work on recruiting. Okay. So that'll be my addition to it. All right. Anything else you guys need to ask? Send it to Valerie, and she will like wait the information and submit it if it so see fits. All right. Thank you, Valerie, for bringing this up. All right. Item number 11, discussion on rent stabilization. I'm gonna make this very quick. As you guys know, we have temporarily frozen our rent stabilization until the county's emergency rent stabilization was put into place. On October 17, so the county council approved a permanent rent stabilization. Let me not skip a step. And it will come into effect October 17. The city manager has reached out to the city attorney so that would do a comparison of what ours looks versus them. My recommendation at this point will be for us to study. We have a few months left of the year in order to figure out what we want to do. The county, and they'll show you the information on, we'll put a document together that shows like, what the differences are, where our holes are and what is not, to figure out what we want to do for the next upcoming year. So we're going to be working on that. But I want you guys to basically know that as of October 17, we will fall into the county's rent stabilization as we worked on what is it that we want to do for next year. Because I think right now trying to get the last few months in on doing ours is going to be too much weight on the staff. And the CPU for us compared to the county, it is a little different. Right now for them, it's like the CPU is 3 plus, it's a CPU plus 3, so it's a 6% right now. But it depends. So it covers, that temporarily didn't cover some senior homes and they were held on ours. So I think that right now, except for the CPU like difference, the rent stabilization for the county covers a couple more apartments and people than ours does. So we need to revive it to see if we want to touch it. And two, we need to figure out what we want to do with the ledger. If the part that we want to have people turn in from the apartment is the ledger that says how many apartments are per unit and building and stuff like that. But I think that we're going to work on it and get more information, and we utilize the next few months to get that done. Okay? We're good with that? Yes, no, questions, good. So I'm assuming Lucas said yes because he's not on camp. All right, perfect. Okay, so that was done. So I just gave you guys back like 10 minutes. New business Valerie, you're definitely busy. First reading of resolution 05-2024 budget calendar. As you know, we present the calendar. And what we do is like we review it. We don't have to have all the answers, but if there's a problem, you need to like get on it right away, because this basically our city manager and city clerk have to put it together. They have to submit it to like newspapers and information and everything out to make sure we're abiding by the rules. But this also like governs when we're going to be reviewing and also when the staff needs to turn the information. So can you put it on screen, Millie? Let me do the quick one. So you take a breather, Valerie, okay? A resolution saying the proposed budget calendar for fiscal year 2026 budget, which will be like this upcoming budget. Whereas the city council must adopt a budget of city revenues and expenditures for fiscal year 2026, beginning July 1st, 2025, and ending July 30, 2026. And whereas the budget should provide a complete financial plan for upcoming fiscal year and including estimates of anticipated revenues and proposed expenditures. And whereas Charter Section 702 provides that a budget for the next fiscal year should be submitted to mayor and council and city council no later than March 31st of each year. And whereas the deadlines for the city council to adopt the city budget to fiscal year 2026 is June 30, 2025. Whereas the budget process is a lengthy one. It doesn't have to be, but you guys can make it longer if you choose to. Whereas it is necessary to inform the public about the proposed budget, hold a public hearing or the proposed budget, and allow for citizens' review to comment before final adoption of the budget ordinance. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council, City of Mount Rainier, Maryland, 1, the following calendar of events is adopted for the preparation adoption for City of Mount Rainier budget for fiscal year FY26. Again, we're not voting on this, but I need you guys to focus on the dates. And if you guys are thinking there's going to be a problem, please address it. Usually our biggest issue is spring break. And any holidays that you guys could think of, but spring break is our biggest contender. All right, Valerie, I saved you half a page. You could read the rest.
All right. The following calendar of events is adopted for the preparation and adoption of the City of Mount Rainier budget for fiscal year FY 26. So date Tuesday, October 1, 2024, first reading of the resolution setting proposed budget calendar for FY 2026 budget. Tuesday, October 29th, 2024, second reading and adoption of resolution setting proposed budget calendar for FY 2026 budget. Thursday, October 31st, 2024, budget instructions issued to all city departments, committees, and community groups. Friday, December 27, deadline for all city departments, committees, and community groups to submit budget FY 2026 requests to the city manager. Friday, February 14th, city manager submits proposed budget FY 2026 to the city council. Tuesday, February 18th, 2025, city manager presents proposed budget FY 26 to the council. Council holds work session on proposed budget FY 2026 and discussion of tax rate. Thursday, March 6th, notice published in Prince George's Post and or Sentinel or of public hearing on proposed FY 26 budget scheduled for March 2022-2025. Constant yield rate will be posted and published. Saturday, March 22, 2025. 1, public hearing and public comment on proposed budget FY 26. 2, council work session on budget FY 26 following the public hearing. Tuesday, April 1, 2025, discussion of FY 26 proposed budget and first reading into the record of the FY 26 budget ordinance. Tuesday, April 18th, public hearing on proposed FY 26 budget and discussion by City Council of FY 26 proposed budget. Tuesday, April 15th, 2025, second reading of FY26 budget ordinance and possible vote. Tuesday, May 6th, if needed, vote on FY26 budget ordinance. Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025, if needed, vote on 2026 budget ordinance.
That you have to go all the way to the bottom, Ellie. You skipped the part. There. Read the part.
2, budget calendar for the preparation and adoption of the City of Mount Rainier FY26 budget may be amended or adjusted by the City Council as necessary.
So look at it, the spring break for him is April 14th to the 22nd. Okay. About me, and you need to check on our dates as well, because the other problem we were having that we did it right before. One of them we did it right before spring break. The other one we did it right in it, and then right after. And it was we need to look at those dates. So for next meeting, I need you guys to make sure that you guys are submitting information. Then we'll draw some other dates with the team, okay? To try to accommodate it, but it makes it very hard. Okay? And we're gonna try to do everything we can in our power to vote on it the first round we can. So that way it's gone and done with. All right. Thank you guys so much. Presentation of minutes. The city clerk will present the minutes for September 17. Work session minutes to the mayor and council. They're in your package. Review them. And they're up for vote on the next round. Vote on approval of the minutes, June 18, 2024, special legislation meeting, public hearing and work session. September 3rd, legislative meeting. I have a motion on the floor to approve both sets of minutes.
Second.
So moved.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Objection, abstention, hearing none. It votes anonymously. And can you look at the upcoming events quickly, Melly? All right, upcoming events, Halloween parade and trunk or treats, October 26th. Thomaston Elementary School at 4:30 p.m. General election is November 5th, 2024, 7 to 8 p.m. Veterans Day brunch is November 9th, 2024 at the Police Department Community Room from 10 to 12. Thanksgiving basket distribution is November 21st, 12 to 6. Police Department Community Room. Those links are gonna be sent out pretty soon. And we do have there's one more thing that we have. Are you? Let's say, Ron, are you here? Melly, there's a business event tomorrow on Thursday, right? Oh, Mr. Kamali, either one of you guys?
Yes, there's a meeting on Thursday night, and it's opportunity for our business owners to attend the workshop that we're coming from.
So it's already in the city calendar, so just look it up.
It should be on the city calendar, and they're offering 10 hours free classes for the business owners workshop.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Kamali. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
It's probably moved in second. Oh, I moved it, so somebody seconded. I'm moving you guys out of here. Any discussion, objection, abstention? Hearing none, this meeting has come to an end at 8:38 p.m. Thank you, guys. I know some of the parts were a little bit meatier, but I'm trying to get you guys on time because once the budget hits, it's going to be a long discussion. All right, staff, thank you guys so much for everything. I definitely appreciate you guys. I know we have a lot of things to do this week, and for the next few weeks, it's not stopping. So have a great night, and I'll see you guys soon. Good night.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, staff.